Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. It means so much to me. I can't believe I've hit this milestone already. I thank you guys all so much because it's because of you that I've gotten this 100 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. And since you guys helped me out so much, I'm going to help you out. So today's video is going to be how to boost your FPS in multiple games. Okay, so you can just check in the description. I'm going to have all the games linked, so you can just skip to them to check what you want to have your FPS increase on. So this is how I think you can increase your FPS. So if you play Geometry Dash and you got like really high end levels, like you want to play Nintendo but the FPS is just too slow and your PC just can't handle it, well, the first thing I recommend to you is go here to the graphics thing. You just need to click on this little thing, and then you click here to the graphics, and then you can turn you can turn texture quality to low. See? So then you can turn that to low, and then boom. It may look really disgusting. So if you're trying to play like what's it called? If you're trying to record videos, well then this would be a terrible idea. And if this is just too bad for you, well then you can turn it up to medium. I think medium's fine. Medium's completely good actually. You don't even notice a difference on 1080p devices. So I'll just keep it on medium. I don't think you can change that, but you can also turn on vertical sync. I find that this makes my game much smoother. And then smooth fix, which also reduces lag. So you can turn this on. It just makes the music go off if you have lag. And then the final thing, which also increases your FPS, is if it's a little hidden, which is kind of weird. If you go to help, then you should see on the bottom left here it says low detail mode. And basically what that does is it creates the background to be grainy, like this, which isn't that bad. And it also causes orbs to be, sorry, this is a terrible example of a level for orbs, but basically what it does to orbs is it creates them to be, it creates them to not have that shine, and also when you reach the end of a level, it shouldn't have that anymore. So if I just quickly create a new level, so just to show you what it's like, and I just place down a few orbs, and a few jump pads too, because it does it to the jump pads too. So you'll see that they don't shine, number one, and number two, you see they look different, and then when you reach the end, also it's a bit less high quality. So that's all that does, and yet it boosts your FPS crazy, okay, like a crazy amount. Just for like certain levels. I'm not sure if it happens with different levels. There's also this low detail mode setting on the side, and then you can turn that on, and usually it'll like make it a little less quality. Okay guys, now look here, see it says low dimension mode off, and then it's like it still looks okay, and also there was not lagging at all there, so that's a lot better. But now you can also take it a step further. Sometimes levels have an ultra low dimension mode, like this one. See, I just jumped on that, and then it gave me that ultra low dimension mode. So now I'll show you what that does. Okay, so on really old mobile phones and such, this will make a big difference. As you can see from that just causes my FPS to be a lot better, and actually it looks quite a lot smoother. I don't know why, but quite like it. So yeah, that's just one of my tips. I'm sorry if this wasn't very helpful to you, if you still wanted it to look good and it doesn't look good anymore. I'm not sure that that's all I know of to be good for boosting your FPS. I'm fine, so I just keep everything normal, but you know, for those people out there who need it. So yeah, that's the Geometry Dash section. Now we'll move on to Minecraft. Okay guys, now we move on to the Minecraft section. Let's say that you have lots of mods, or let's just say that you have a really slow computer, something's wrong with it, I don't know. Okay, just have a really slow computer. Like for instance, I have 1.16 installation, which chews my graphics card and my RAM. So I cannot play, even with this, I still can't even play, but you know, it'll help with those people who just need it. So what you do is you go to your installation that you're playing on that causes you a lag. So for me, it would be, let's just say that I'm lagging on 1.17.1, right? Then I'll go here, Now this is the thing you do. So you click on more options, and then over here it will have this long thing. You don't need to worry about anything except the bit over here where it says 2G. Okay, so that means where it says 2G over here, that means that it's allocating 2 gigabytes of RAM to your game. So now, if you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, you can change this to 4 and click save, and then boom, you will have 4 gigabytes of RAM allocated. This actually boosts your FPS by so much, guys, and it actually makes it 10 times better when loading mods, because it has so much more to work on. It's faster, it's just 10 times better. If you have 16 gigabytes of RAM and you have nothing else running in the background or anything, I usually set it to 12. You can set it to 14, but I would recommend 12. So I just set it to 12. Now there is a bit of a bug. So when you click save and then you go here and then you load your game, usually when you load it, it will, okay, this was a terrible example because it has to download. But basically what will happen is that when you load in and you go back out and you go back to your installations and check it again because it's going slow again, it would have reset it back to 2 gigabytes. So to fix that, you just need to go to installations. So when you change it to 12 gigabytes. Okay guys, so as I was saying, sorry, I just loaded me in, so yeah. Basically what will happen is, like for instance, I'm going to use this map art as an example. I have 2 gigabytes allocated. Let's change that to 12 and click save. And let's load in and see what happens. So when I load in, with Forge, it'll show on the top how much gigabytes of RAM is being used. I think it's only on later versions, so it might not show here. Yeah, but look here. So if I load into a world, I should have 12 gigabytes allocated. So just wait a few seconds and it should load it in. Okay, so I have 12 gigabytes allocated of RAM to my game. I don't know if you can see it there. On the top right there, it says mem, and then it says all of this stuff. So as you can see, it's got 12,000 megabytes. That means that it works. That means that it works. So if you did this and then you press F3 on your keyboard, or on laptops, I think it's function F3, and then you should see there 2888 megabytes, and yeah, so that actually boosts your FPS by so much, because now you can do so much at once without it glitching your game or whatever. So you can place like 50 cows or whatever, and it shouldn't do a thing. So you can just spawn like crazy. You can spawn the Ender Dragon on repeat. So you can do whatever you want, and it'll be super fast. But now, as soon as you quit the game and you go back into the launcher, and you go back into installations and you check on your installation again, you have to do this part or it will not work. You have to go edit, and then you, as you can see, oh no mind, it actually saved this time, but just do this in case, because sometimes it happens. So it'll say reset back to 2 gigabytes. So what you have to do is you need to change that to 12, you need to click save. Then what I usually do is I go back to play, I go back to installations, and I click edit again, and sometimes it would have reset it. So then you just got to click here, and then you got to click save. Same with the, if you're setting this to like versions or whatever, to have individual mods in different places, you got to do that twice too sometimes. So sometimes that happens. Yeah, that's just one thing you can do for boosting FPS. Another thing you can do is just get Optifine, because Optifine boosts your FPS by so much. Even without shaders, it boosts your FPS so much, because with Optifine you can literally do anything you want. It is so good. So with those people who have really low-end laptops, just get Optifine. And if you have Fabric, then you can get OptiFabric, I think it's called, or you can get, I forgot what it's called. It's like something like Sodium. Yeah, I think it's Sodium. Sodium's also great for Fabric. So you got Forge and you got Fabric. For Forge, you would get Optifine, and for Fabric, you would get Sodium. OptiFabric just lets you load shaders on Fabric, I think, so, and it also works exactly like Optifine. So yeah, and then also Optifine gives you tons of settings for here. So if you go to your shaders, so let's say you also want to run a shader, you got all these options here, so you can turn this all down: render quality, shadow quality, hand depth. Keep in mind, this is going to make your game look a lot less high quality, but you'll still have the shaders. So for example, with the video settings, you can change quality. You can turn all of this off. You can turn off most of these things like custom sky off, minimap levels turn down. You know, do whatever you want with it. Play around with these settings. Some settings really do change. You got animations. You can turn off all animations. It kind of sucks. Like if you turn off water animation and lava animation, all it does is it's that water doesn't move and lava doesn't move. So just look at this. If I make it run, as you can see, instead of whoops, I did that wrong. If I just break, as you can see, the water is just staying still. But then if I turn that I turn water animation back on, it just makes the water run, as you can see. And same with lava. So that's what you can do to boost your FPS. Just get Optifine, change your allocation of RAM in the settings, and you should be good to have 1000 FPS. I know. And also my FPS drops every single time I open up this menu, so yes, I am running at 1000 FPS right now. Also, you can also turn down just the basic things, like you can turn render distance to 2. If this is fine with you, you can turn it up to, it just means that you can't see more, because it renders in the chunks a lot slower, as you can see, and you can only see so much. But then if you turn it up, that's just ludicrous, as it says. As you can see, I'm loading in tons of stuff right now. 64 render distance. As you can see a lot more. And yeah, that's what render distance does. I keep it at 12 or 8. I don't really mind. Normal plus. Okay. For max frame rate, you can turn it to unlimited if you don't mind fluctuating FPS, or you can turn it to VSync, which is the same as your monitor. VSync is smart because you don't notice FPS changes between your monitor's refresh rate and your FPS. So if you have it on VSync, it'll be stable. As you can see, I'm just stuck on one. No. Okay, VSync doesn't seem to be working right now. I don't know why that's happening, but usually VSync should just change it to your monitor. I have a 144Hz monitor, so it should change to 144. It's not doing that for some reason. You can turn dynamic lights off. That just makes smooth lighting. Dynamic lights. Sorry. This is something else. Dynamic lights. I don't know what dynamic lights is, but apparently it makes your FPS go better. Smooth lighting is basically how smooth the lighting of shaders are. So as you can see, this looks like almost like the beta version of Minecraft. I mean, the grass is still not the right color, but as you can see, if I go somewhere where it's shady, it's like pixelated shades. So you can turn your graphics to fast. This hardly changes a thing. It just makes so that like further away, as you can see, the pixels are like smooth. That boosts my FPS to 800, 600. It's whenever I open up this menu that the FPS drops, but basically it's 700 right now. So that turning your graphics to fast is very good. But check how much FPS. I'm running at 1600 FPS right now. So if you're on a really slow computer, that should boost your FPS like crazy. If you have you allocate your RAM to 12 gigabytes. If you have 16 gigabytes, you set it to 4 gigabytes if you have 8 gigabytes, or maybe 6 if you don't mind having the rest of your programs running slow. And you turn all of these settings like I showed you here. Now let's see, I have 1600. Now let's turn everything to what I usually play on. So I have smooth light maximum fancy, dynamic lights fancy, and I have max frame rate, smooth lighting level, and brightness set to bright. And yeah, just let everything load in. 12 chunks. There we go. Now I'm running at 500. So that is a 1000 FPS boost. So on laptops and stuff, that should make a big difference. Okay. So if this helped you, please consider subscribing, and now we'll move on to the next one, which will be Fortnite. And if you don't like Fortnite, you can just skip over this bit. But yeah. Okay guys, we're in Fortnite now, and yeah, everything seems to be running smoothly. So now watch the FPS to increase your FPS on Fortnite. All you need to do is go to the display settings over here, and well, it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to do here. You can just change your FPS. You can cap your FPS that it doesn't fluctuate, because that's usually the problem with some things. I just keep it to the refresh rate of your monitor. So if you have a 60 Hz monitor, keep it on 60. If you have 144 Hz, 144, 260, 240, 360, all of that. And then you can set it to unlimited if you just got like I don't know, RTX 3090. Okay, so you can do that. You can also change the quality of your display. So if you check here, I'm going to apply this, and then I'm going to apply the lowest you can get for quality. Okay, so now as you can see, it's quite pixelated. Everything seems to be running a lot smoother. But as you can see, I'm running at, oh, sorry, let me just go on limited FPS so that you can see the FPS difference when I change. Okay, so now I'm running at 150 roundabout. Okay, so 160 top, 130 bottom. Okay, so I'm running at a higher FPS, higher FPS. Now if I turn it back to 1080p, it's running at 70 FPS. As you can see, big difference there. So so I'm just going to keep this like that so that you can check that. But if you don't like this, then there's also a few other settings you can change. So you can change the quality preset. You can change that to low. This looks really bad, just warning you. As you can see, it's really ugly. It's really pixelated. I'm running at 150 FPS though. As you can see, very pixelated. Now medium is actually good. Medium's okay. As you can see, it's not that bad to look at. Pretty good. Not that bad. You know, it's okay. And then high is a very good setting to set. If you have a low quality, if you don't have a 1080p monitor, well then you can set it to whatever you want. But yeah, so that's how you can boost your FPS on Fortnite so far. So I'll keep that on low, and I'll turn this to the lowest setting. Okay, so now I'm running at still 144. So yeah. I think it's because maybe I have VSync activated. In fact, let me quickly check that. Do I have VSync on? VSync? Oh yeah, I have VSync on. Sorry guys. So whoa, okay, big difference. Never mind. Sorry. Let me just redo this. So let's turn this back to normal, and let's turn this to epic. I am running at 90 FPS around that. So guys, I'm running with normal, full screen, 1080p. And epic settings with everything. I'm running at about 90 FPS. Now you can also change this to the lowest, and you can change this to low, and then I'm running now at 243 FPS, so that also makes a big difference. And then you can also change your 3D resolution. You can change that to the lowest setting you can, and then that should also make your FPS a lot higher. As you can see, it looks really bad, but if you're really desperate, then that will work for you. I'm just going to keep this on high because high is a very good setting to change. Also, if you just want to be a pro gamer or whatever and have your view distance epic and then everything else off, and have your 3D resolution to 100, then as you can see, it still looks crisp. It's just the lighting is off and you can see much further. So this actually looks fine. This is what most pro gamers play on because it boosts your FPS and you have pretty good settings. And yeah, see, look, 260 FPS. So the final thing I have for you guys is there's this rendering mode, well, the second final thing. So there's this rendering mode option here. Now, as you can see, if you turn it over to performance over here, it's in alpha phase, but there's this performance option here. This is for FPS. It's literally made for that. Then there's also this allow multi-thread, what's it called? Rendering. This dramatically improves performance. See, like it says over there. So you can turn that on. Then there's also this Nvidia reflex low latency. This is for if you have an Nvidia video card, and yeah, this basically just makes it better for if you have an Nvidia graphics card. In fact, I have a Nvidia graphics card, so this could actually be really good, because basically what it does, it reduces systems latency and GPU. So this is really good for if you also have latency. And yeah, so these settings over here are very important. So VSync connects to your monitor's refresh rate. I have 144 Hz, so it will do 144 at the tops. And performance, and keep in mind when you put on performance, you're gonna have to restart your game, so it won't just happen automatically. And then there's also, yeah, like allow multi-thread rendering and Nvidia reflex low latency if you have an Nvidia graphics card. And that is all I have for you for Fortnite, guys. So if you found this helpful and you did get your FPS boosted, like I said earlier, consider subscribing if you enjoyed this content, because I will be making a part 2 to this. And next we will be moving on to Beamng. Okay guys, so here we are on Beamng Drive. I'm going to quickly load into the highest end map in the game, which would be, sometimes my game crashes, but the cliff, so I'm just going to load in something a slight bit less, you know, needing. Okay, so I'm just going to spawn on the hill here. It's loading in quite slowly, but that's fine. Now, you can also, if you have an Nvidia graphics card, there's things you can do in the Nvidia control panel, which I'm going to be showing you at the end, and that's just in general for boosting your FPS. So, in Beamng Drive, what you can do to boost your FPS is, so as you can see, I'm loading in here, taking a bit of a while because my settings are quite high, but just wait for everything to load in. Okay, boom, looks like everything's loaded in. Let's change some of these settings and see how high I can get my FPS. So let's just respawn real quick in this shady area, well, light shade, so there's a bit of FPS fluctuation. So now if I go to settings here and I change my resolution to this resolution, to the setting over here, as you can see, this doesn't really change your FPS. It doesn't change your in-game, so as you can see, my in-game is fine, it's just the setting here. You can turn off anti-analyzing, or whatever, however you say it. As you can see, 63, 1 FPS difference. And if I change it to, I turn off ambient occlusion. This is a very important one. So this, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, I can definitely see it definitely changed the look of my game. As you can see, my FPS is going slightly more up. And if I turn off light rays, bloom, and depth of field, that has done a lot. And I'm now on 69, 70 FPS. By the way, thank you for 69 subscribers a long time ago. This is my 100 subscriber special. I forgot to do a 69 subscriber special. Sorry about that. So I guess this is making up for both. Okay, so now we move on to this grass density, time arcs amount. So if you don't want any time arcs, because that can also lag the game when you're skidding and stuff, then you just got to turn that off. And there's also grass density, you can turn that down, and then there's like no grass at all. This also boosts your FPS. So as you can see, I've already boosted up like 10 FPS and it hasn't changed much. And on lower end computers that will change a lot. And then we move on to resolution. You can change your resolution down, and then as you can see, it's a little less resolution. My FPS is boosting here. And you can change also this update rate, turn that down to 1. Doesn't update very fast, but as you can see, I'm running at 80 FPS now. Then you've also got over here detail. You can turn your detail all the way down. Quality of reflections off. As you can see, I'm running at 80 FPS. This is very smooth actually. It's very satisfying to work with. And yeah, it's still very playable. Then we move down some more and we have this distance. This is how far you can see. So if I turn this down, my FPS hasn't changed much, but that's because it's already loaded in all of this, I guess. So yeah, as you can see, it looks a lot less quality than when I started, but it's definitely boosted my FPS. Look, I've already almost hit the 100 mark. So let's see if we can get to that 100 mark. So the next settings is all of these settings. All of these settings are the best. So now you can turn these to the lowest settings, and then we'll make everything low. But yeah, this will make it look trash. Yeah, but as you can see, it doesn't look that great. But as you can see, I'm getting 100 FPS. It's moving around a lot, but 144, 170. So this is the thing which will change your FPS the most. So this is the most important thing to change, I would say. If you're just looking for a tiny bit of an FPS boost with not much change of what's it called? And aesthetics, yeah, not looking for much of that, well then just change the settings earlier. And if you're looking for just a mega FPS boost, well then just change to this. This is a really good thing to do for all of your stuff. And yeah, you've also got dynamic reflection, turn that off, I don't know if you saw that. And yeah, so that's how you can boost your FPS in Beamng. I know that many people want to boost their FPS in Beamng because look, I've already almost hit 200. Because I remember I got this game on my mom's laptop before I had my computer, and I did not know that it was such a what's it called? it needed so much, right? Because when I tried playing it on my mom's laptop, it was terrible. It was 1 FPS, and I couldn't see a thing. So I was like so sad, crying even. Such a baby, anyways. And so yeah, I just wanted to boost my FPS. Then I ended up refunding it because I couldn't even use it. So yeah, I hope this helps you. And so that's how you boost your FPS in Beamng. Now the final thing we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be showing you the general FPS changes. So if you look here, all you need to do, if this only works if you have a Nvidia graphics card, but it's very useful. If you right click here and you go Nvidia control panel, you click on Nvidia control panel, it should show up here. Now what you can go to here is you can go adjust image settings with preview, and usually it will be set to quality. You just got to turn that all the way down to performance. As you can see, there's a tiny bit of a difference, and then you just click apply, and yeah, now as you can see, it's going to boost my FPS here. You can also manage your 3D settings here. You can change this stuff. You can turn all of this off and stuff for different programs. You just got to choose your program, like let me choose Geometry Dash for example, and then you just got to change all of this. See, anti-analyzing, you can turn that off. You can turn all of this off. There's tons of settings you can fiddle around with. You can change your resolution of your actual screen. I don't recommend this, but you know, you can go as far as to that. And then the final thing, which works with Windows computers, I'm not sure if it works with Mac or Linux. I'm pretty sure it would work with them. But basically, you just go to settings, and you search in here privacy. And you go to your privacy settings, and you scroll down until you see background apps. And then you just got to turn this off, because all it does is these apps like these ones, like the Microsoft apps, so it's not very important. You can turn this off. This actually is very important. You can turn this off and it won't like change anything except your FPS in your games. It won't ruin anything. Yeah, so it's like Netflix, all that stuff. And so yeah, that's technically everything you can do to boost your FPS in all the games that I have to boost FPS. I also have Among Us, but there's not much to change there. I'm not exactly sure how you change your Totally Accurate Battlegrounds FPS. Then there's just shapes and beats. I know that you can change a few settings in this game, so I might make a part 2 of this video when we hit 1k subscribers, and then I'll do just shapes and beats, Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, Among Us, and CSGO, I guess. And then I can also do Rocket League and Squad if you actually play those games, because Rocket League is quite a popular game, so I will do Rocket League. But with Squad, I'm not sure it's a very popular game. It's a very good game, I recommend it, but yeah. And yeah, that's all the advice I have for you for boosting your FPS. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please consider subscribing so that we can hit that 1k, and then I'll do a second part of this video. So yeah, and toodaloo.